everyone, to the EverydayFan.com podcast. Joining us today, we have Paul, Liam, and Lamar. And as always, we're starting talking NBA hoops. Let's hear it, Paul.
Hey, guys, how you doing today? Nice to see you guys all back. We got Liam up there in the corner. We got Jack down in the bottom corner, and we got Lamar back again. So it's been a little bit over a week, guys, but how you guys been?
Pretty good.
Doing good.
Yeah,
Feeling good.
So I hear everybody is now vaccinated. Huh? All you guys, Lamar, I think you're the only one I haven't heard from, man. Have you gotten the shots, man?
I'm still got my first one on the first.
All right, see.
All right, so I just got my other one on Wednesday, and I'm feeling good. Don't be afraid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Lean
I'm
in.
not really afraid of it. I just know I know a couple people that got still caught COVID after being vaccinated.
No way.
Yep.
Yeah, I've had both. I've had both of mine.
me too.
Yeah, my buddy at work, got one of my close buddies at work, the guy that caught COVID that had us all fall last week. His wife got vaccinated over a month ago and caught it from him still.
Oh shit.
They're going to have superpowers soon, though. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's one of but they're gonna force you to get vaccinated so you can get into these games. So I gotta get vaccinated because I want to get back to going to games.
That's just about it. That's why I really wanted to get it done, because I want to get back into those locker rooms. I want to be able to get back into there. I miss being on the fields and on the courts. So I'll do whatever that takes. But in saying that, today, guys, we're going to get back into a little bit of the NBA today. And I just did that again. All right. Always messing something up. Okay, we're going to get back into the NBA today. As always, since that's the big thing going on. Let's start today with the MVP. And the reason, of course, why I want to start with the MVP talk is because of Joker. You know, I love the Joker. I love the Nuggets. And I feel as though they are trying to not give him this award. Like, he is leading in everybody's books. If you look, the NBA itself puts out their little list. He's leading in that list. He's leading in the odds. But every time you turn around, somebody's trying to take it away from him and give it to somebody else. And now, and I know somebody's going to get me for this, but now we got them trying to give it to Steph Curry, who is playing on a team who just reached number 10. 10. You know, so give me your thoughts on the MVP and what it means, Liam. What does it mean? What should it mean?
So, Paul, you know, as a Sixers fan, you and I are supposed to completely hate each other because we have the two best centers in the league, right?
That's
and
right.
Clearly better than the other. Well, I mean, I'm biased. You're biased. It is what it is. I still think Joel Embiid is the MVP at this current moment in time, and I have my reasons for such. What I want to say is I'm not discounting Jokic for MVP at all. I think if he wins it, it's very justified. But there is something to say about regression within the standings on a year-to-year basis that determines it. So Jamal Murray just went out, right? And the Nuggets are 5-0 since Murray went out. I'm correct about that, right? They haven't lost since Jamal Murray went down. So
they've lost 2 times now.
They've lost. I'm sorry.
Yeah. They lost last night to the Warriors, and then they lost. That might be it. They might have only been one.
Yeah, they started 4-0 after.
Yeah.
But, you know, Giannis has great numbers too. They're third in the East. They very well could end up winning the East. You know, they play the Sixers today. I'm assuming they're going to win. They have a back-to-back with the Nets in a couple weeks, which is absolutely vital to determine how the conference in the East is going to shake out. And Giannis, as a third seed right now, isn't even getting discussed for MVP consideration when he's having a very comparable year to his past 2 in which he did win the MVP. The Nuggets, the past 2 years, they were the 2 seed. And then they were the 3 seed last year, right? Were they the 2 seed last year again?
I think they were the 2. Yeah.
So they were the 2 seed the past 2 years. If they end as the 5 seed with no necessary justification as to why they couldn't have held on to the 2 seed, maybe that's why. Because like you see the same kind of thing happening to Giannis. I mean, I know LeBron got injured, but like if any reason the Lakers fell out of 1, I don't think he's winning MVP. Meanwhile, the Sixers are on the rise. You know what I'm saying? They were the 6th seed in the East last year. They were the 3 seed before that, and they'd never been the 2 or the 1. And now if they end up as the best team in the East, and the Jazz are the best team in the West with no true MVP candidate, I think you have to give it to I think you're going to give it to Joel Embiid for his utter dominance. Also, that missed shot against the Suns the other night, I'm sure everyone's seen it by now. If he had hit that shot, that would have sealed MVP right there. There's no question. Like nothing could be done after that.
Jack, what do you think?
All right, so let me tell you, it's they should just underline it twice like I have. It's MVP'd. Okay, that's what it is. It's Joel MVP. It's Joel Embiid right now. And it's nothing against the Joker. I think he's a fantastic basketball player. But for me, and I've watched both games, you know, I catch late Nuggets games. I lose money on the Sixers because I think they're better than they are. I put it out there. I go, you guys should cover 4, and they cover 3. It happens, okay? But without Joel Embiid, the Sixers, ready? Philadelphia are not a playoff team. They absolutely are not a player because they don't have a player that does something at an A+ rate. And I want to hear passing's an A+ thing. Like, because you could pass to guys, but you need to have shooters. Ben Simmons does not even make them an 8 seed, in my opinion. His lack of being able to shoot or crowding the court hurts him. And again, I think Joker's great. Just the size of the man too. Just the eye test. I think Joel Embiid is unguardable. I think that he could be entering the stage in his career where Shaquille O'Neal was in Los Angeles. Like, there were other decent centers in the league, but just he's a massive man.
Okay, I really want to go with that, but go ahead, Lamar. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, I'm about 50-50. The only reason why I'm 50-50 is because the games missed of Embiid missed like 18 games. But as far as Jokic having a great season, Embiid having a dominating season, man. Like Jack said, he's pretty much unguardable. He hit mid-range jumpers, going in the post, and also shoot the 3. But those assists from the Joker, man, he averaging damn near many assists as point guard.
And honestly, if you want to look at numbers, I mean, the numbers are there for Joker to say, I mean, he hits the mid-range. Here's the thing that I wanted to get at real quick with that is that if you watch any Nuggets games, what they're doing, especially now without Murray, is every time he touches the ball, there's 2 or 3 guys on him. And then talking about Shaq, he plays by Shaq rules, okay? Do you guys remember how Shaq, his biggest complaint was that he would get fouled every time, but because he didn't fall down or because he didn't act like he got hit, they didn't call a foul for him, right? And that was always his thing was, why are you not going to call it for me when just because I'm strong enough to take it? Well, that's Joker. Watch his body at the end of a game. Like, he's tore up. He takes abuse as could be. 2 or 3 guys on him all the time, and he still gets the numbers that he gets. I don't see no other big. I mean, Joel can play, and I'm not putting him down at all. I mean, the guy is obviously a great talent. I'm talking about like right now, though, with those 2, I'm going to take Joker only because of I think his physicality is better than Joel Embiid's myself.
Isn't it amazing though? This is where we'll all agree, right? Isn't it amazing in a guard-driven league, we're talking about centers as MVPs? I mean, It's all guards. Guard. We're not talking about any of the guards that shoot threes. We're talking about physicality. We're talking about banging down low, and we're talking about dominating games.
Well, should there be though, Lamar? Should anybody else be in there? Like, should Steph Curry be thought of, even though he's at that? Because we've only had two ever that their team didn't reach the heights or even have a winning record, which they don't have a winning record yet.
Steph Curry shouldn't be in there, man. If they didn't give Kobe Bryant the MVP when the Lakers made the 8th seed when he had that great season, there's no way in hell Steph Curry should be there get MVP nod.
Great point. Go ahead, man.
If Steph Curry is in MVP talks right now, then Russell Westbrook's in MVP talks right now. Then Bradley Beal, Russell Westbrook's teammate, is in MVP talks right now. And then every great player on a shitty team, on a bad team, would be in MVP talks. Devin Booker for the past 4 years would have been in MVP talks. It just I don't understand it. Just because he had 10 great games this month, like he was having his worst shooting season ever until that 10-game stretch ever.
And it has to be about lifting your team at some point, doesn't it? I mean, otherwise, why are you the most valuable? Kind of like Jack said with Philly going out. Now, I think Philly did pretty good when they went out, but I can't imagine Joker going off of the Nuggets because I don't even know if they're an 8 seed. I mean, they have really good talent, but when they play without him, look at their record. I mean, it is awful. He facilitates. That's the problem when you have a guy who does everything, who does the passing, who does the rebounding, who does the scoring. There's him and who Randall for New York and maybe Giannis, I think, are the three that do all of those things. There's a problem when you have that is when they're gone, you're losing all that.
Tell you what, I watched Randall the other night. It's funny that you mentioned him because maybe not this year, but I watched him dribble the ball up, starting to facilitate, start with that left hand, distributing, doing all these different things. Randall will be in the talk going forward. He's in New York around. In big games. He's dropping 40 points, 7 assists, and like I'm a Knicks guy, and I said, but I'm honest, right? I'm honest. I'm not going to sit here. Oh, they have a Randall the other night. I sat there and I went, I'll tell you what, Atlanta has no clue what to do with him. And the Knicks came back in that game, and Trae Young was playing his, I'm going to get fouled and get to the line game, but nobody knows what to do with a 6'10" guy that can actually dribble, shoot the three and pass. Did you hear me, Ben Simmons?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Atlanta doesn't know what they're doing with anybody on the defense end, so let's not mind that. But Julius Randle's having a great, awesome season. I can't see him being an MVP. Well, maybe he could, I guess. I would like a third place finish. Hey, that's 3 bigs. I never saw this out of Julius Randle. He's turning heads. Tom Thibodeau, he's done a great job. But Paul, to your point, I think Mike Malone is – I don't want to know if he's underrated, but he's a pretty underappreciated coach in my opinion. And I think if Jokic went out, if you gave him – I think if he had enough time to figure it out before he got thrown into game situations, I think he could figure out how to make a fully healthy rest of the Nuggets roster work.
What do you think, Lamar?
About with a Nuggets without Joker?
Yeah.
Ain't no playoff team.
How do you feel about Randall?
Randall? Oh man, I'm happy for him, man. I've been watching him when he was playing for the Lakers. I always say if he can improve, get a jump shot, he would start turning the corner. You see it, man. The skill set was there. Just need to improve his game in certain areas. It goes to show you if you work hard at your game, you can improve. Like Ben Simmons, he start getting it, he start putting up some shots so he can take his game to the next level.
Now we're getting sick. There's the jersey. I forgot. Oh my God, I forgot all about that. The jersey today is the Sixers, of course, and leading back into Ben. Go ahead and let's get into those Sixers real quick. Tell me what you think about them, Liam. What's going on?
So I break out the Ben Simmons jersey, and it's funny you say this. It's a little faded from the washing machine. Is he washed? I don't know, but and it's also last year's jersey. It always looked a little patchwork to me. I just got it because I thought I should have it, but I don't know. I never really actually liked this jersey. I'm here to talk about Ben Simmons, and I have a really good take for you about Ben Simmons. But first, let me just say they're on a 3-game losing streak where we could have beat the Warriors, we could have beat the Suns, and we could have beat the Bucks. He's not playing again today. We're probably going to lose to the Bucks again in 2 hours.
Could have.
And that'll be a 4-game losing streak before Ben Simmons might even be back. And we've already relinquished at least the lead for the 1 seed so far, and that 1 seed is vital. But here's my take about Ben Simmons. His impact is more noticeable when he's not there, and that's not a good characteristic, and that's why he draws the ire of Philadelphia fans and NBA pundits alike. Because when he's on the court, he could have this pedestrian stat line and play great defense, and the Sixers can still win by 3 points. But when he's not there, and Matisse Thybulle, who's an awesome defender, he did a great job on Devin Booker the other night. Nobody can stop Giannis, ever has been able to on the Sixers. Giannis always destroys the Sixers. But when Ben isn't there, you truly see how shooters aren't open anymore. Ben, what he does when he gets into the key is he collapses some levels of the defense. He's created more open threes for anybody since he stepped on the court in the NBA. And you miss that when he's not there, but you don't appreciate enough when it is there because it doesn't look like he's doing all that he should be doing. I think it's more noticeable of an impact when he's not there. Thus the fact that we're on a 3-game losing streak, and it's just absurd. And this illness thing, if you want to be defensive player of the year, get your butt out there and guard Steph Curry, get your butt out there and guard Devin Booker, and get your butt out there and try on Giannis 2 times. 2 times. This is 4 games where he could have really been like, okay, let's lock down. And I get he's sick. I don't know. They say it's not COVID-related illness. What are you out for 4 games with? Do you have pneumonia? Why can't we have some information here? But his impact is more noticeable when he's not there. So the Sixers have no chance without him. I don't think they really have a chance with him, but they have no chance without him.
My question for the Sixers, though, is this. Are they any better than last year? I mean, they got Doc.
Yes.
It was supposed to change that whole, that whole thing that they had going with they couldn't reach anything. Are they any better than they've been?
Much better than last year. Like discernibly better than last year. I don't know what that means, though. Because last year,
does that translate into a playoff win?
I think this is the best iteration. I think the Jimmy Butler Sixers were the best iteration of the process era Sixers. And this is the second best iteration. But the thing about, even though it's the second best talent iteration, it's the best coach, obviously. Doc Rivers over Brett Brown. And coaching can bring out and exploit a lot of things in the playoffs that the players just can't do. It's the same thing with postseason baseball. It's the same thing with postseason football. It becomes a coach's game. And Doc Rivers is a great coach.
Mm-hmm.
And they're second best in the East. They're better than Milwaukee. They're better than Boston. And it's not, it's just better than, like, Milwaukee just kind of, they're flat. I don't know what they need. I don't know what the next ingredient is. They might need a coaching change, and that's not, a knock on Bud, but it seemed to help Philly. A different voice, a different interjection,
Sometimes
right? Maybe a few ideas. I remember when I was watching the game the other night, Doc Rivers made an interesting point. Okay, and his point to Joel Embiid was take the second 3. And I sat in my chair and I went, take the second 3. And when I watched it transpire over the game, I'm not telling you not to take them. But maybe if we fake like we're going to do it a couple times, you'll take less ones and we'll get better shots, but it'll keep the defense guessing. Doc Rivers interjects those new ideas. Maybe Milwaukee needs it. Brad Stevens he's got to go somewhere. I like Brad Stevens too, but the glues to team, like you said, Jimmy Butler, right, was a good glue for Philly. I'll tell you what, Marcus Smart is the glue in Boston. And they're playing better now, but it's just not going to be enough. It's Brooklyn and Philly. I'm rooting for Philly, but I just, are we going to start shooting those threes, Ben?
How do you feel about Philly, Lamar?
I like Philly. Ben Simmons needs to get back. I think they'd be the ones to put up a tough challenge for a healthy Nets team because their ability to play inside with Embiid. And he had to be a monster in that series for him to win because that's why you got to beat the Nets. You got to control the paint offensively and defensively.
Do you think Doc's going to help them in that playoffs with that?
I don't know. Doc got a history of coming up short in the playoffs except for 08, so we have to wait and see. He's a good coach in mind, but I tell you, man, these playoffs bring out a different monster, man. These people be freezing up and making bad decisions, so we'll see.
Well, speaking of that, let's go to the Clippers real quick because we were talking about Doc, and we'll throw that over to that way in the falling down in the playoffs. The Clippers seem to be on a roll. They are literally rolling people, rolling over teams right now, and for that matter, Paul George, who I'm not a big fan of, but he is playing out of his mind right now, and he has had them just go. So Lamar, tell me what you think about the Clippers real quick.
Well, they're playing great basketball right now. Paul George playing, like you said, Paul George playing out of his mind, but
are they truly the number one in the West, though?
Right now, when everybody hurt, yeah, they could be, but when everybody's healthy, no. But right now, I would say, yeah, they're playing like the best team in the West.
Jack, go ahead and hit us with some Clippers, man.
The Clippers are the best team in the West, and why they are is because Rondo is giving the Clippers the Chris Paul effect. He walks in the building and demands certain things are done. He is a coach on the court, but the reason why he rubs people the wrong way, and Chris Paul does in the same manner, right, is he gets into people. When you're not doing something, he calls you out immediately. It's not about the money. He actually cares about the art and how the formations of the offense run he pivoting certain movements of other players, how they're acting. He calls all of it out. Rajon Rondo is the reason why Paul George is going off. He's getting George in all of his sweet spots. He's demanding better defense of him. Paul George doesn't like being barked at, and Kawhi Leonard doesn't like doing the barking. That's why that didn't work. But if you got a dog in house that wants to continually get on you, that's when you'll take him out for a walk more. If he's barking, you'll get him some more food. If he's constantly barking, he's a pain, but I'll tell you what, he gets you up out of your chair, and that's what Rajon Rondo does for the Clippers. They're the best in the West right now, and they're dangerous because no one believes it.
So you think that they can take that and Rondo will be that difference in the playoffs then?
I mean, so everybody likes Phoenix because of Chris Paul. Well, Phoenix doesn't have a Kawhi Leonard and a Paul George, two guys that could take over games. They just don't have it yet. Devin Booker, he's a nice player and he puts up points, but being able to completely dominate minutes, Leonard and George have shown that they can do it.
Well, let's say if the playoffs started right now, though, they're going to have to take on the Trailblazers, who fell themselves to the 7th spot. So what kind of series do you see there? Is that enough to get past them? Because we all know that the Blazers may be the way they are, but the Blazers have a very good team. They got a lot of, at any time they could play out of their minds. So is that a good matchup though?
Do we even like the Blazers? Like I love Lillard. You know, McCollum's kind of, for me, he's a nice player. I don't know, he hasn't been healthy. Not the greatest defender. Carmelo Anthony's playing nice, but he's not the star that he once was. Portland just doesn't know what they are. I think when they'll run into that Clippers team and they'll get beat. I mean, that's just maybe they wouldn't. Maybe if you just had Leonard and George from last year, it was Clippers team, and it was up against Damian Lillard's will to win. But I'm telling you, Rajon Rondo's gonna make it absolutely awful. Remember when Rondo was on the the Pelicans?
Mm-hmm.
He makes it awful defensively for you to deal with what you want to do. I think he's really a huge difference maker, and he's being discounted. And if Simmons could find a Rajon Rondo 3-pointer, which isn't great, it would change games.
What do you think, Liam, about the Clippers?
I mean, like, the Clippers are obviously playing awesome basketball, and regular season P has shown up. You know, you just gave me a great bunch of ideas, Jack. Do I pull out my Paul George jersey next week, or do I pull out my Lillard, McCollum, or Carmelo Anthony jersey?
You got a Paul George jersey?
It's a Thunder jersey. It's a Thunder jersey. They're playing awesome basketball. And the question about the Blazers, that's a no contest. Fun fact, the Blazers have never beaten the Clippers since Paul George and Kawhi got there. So that they're 8-0. Really? It would probably be a little sweepskeet. But yeah, they're playing awesome basketball. And if you really think about the landscape of the West and you think about how it's going to end up shaking up, the Lakers actually are pretty blessed to be where they are in the standings, because they're going to get the Jamalis Murray Nuggets in the first round, and then they're going to get Utah, who they'll beat, and then they're going to end up in the conference finals with the Clippers or the Suns. And I think this is the Clippers' year to get to the conference finals. I can't see them losing to a first-time playoff team with Chris Paul at the head. Now, when the Nuggets came back last year, you have to think they had been, it was their second year in the playoffs with that group. They won a game 7 against the Spurs in the first round, made it to a game 7 against the Blazers, had a 20-point lead, ended up losing, then won the games, then came back 3-1 against Utah, and then came back 3-1 against the Clippers. They had experience. They had 4 game 7s and 4 conference and 4 total series as a team. The Suns don't have any of that. Devin Booker's never been in the playoffs. Devin Booker went 8-0 in the bubble. Oh, big whoop. I didn't think if they don't get Chris Paul, they're not a playoff team this year, no matter how much they looked in the bubble. This is the Clippers' year to play the Lakers. They're going to meet in the conference finals. I'm almost as confident stamping that as I am stamping this letter that I actually have to send out later today. So I want to say that that's the conference finals. If the Lakers are healthy, though, I don't know that and Rondo can help too, because he knows all the Lakers tricks from being with them last year. And he's the perfect table setter for Paul George. Paul George still has to play well. Like, it can't just be Rondo and Kawhi. Yeah. Paul George has to play well in the playoffs.
Lamar, go ahead, Jack, go ahead.
I think the thing is with Paul George needs somebody on his tail, though. He's just, when he starts playing badly, a pat on the back and you'll get him next time, which is kind of how Kawhi Leonard is. And, oh, Paul George is dangerous. He'll figure it out. Like, as crazy as it sounds and as mean as he was at times, Bobby Knight was a good coach and he got the best out of guys. Jordan once said that, Bobby wants the best out of us, but he yells a lot. And I think Rondo yells a lot, but Paul George has only been better since Rondo's been on the court. Like that, there's a direct correlation for me. I think the biggest takeaway from what Liam just said was Phoenix, big whoop.
Yeah, I'm with you, Lamar. But he did bring up also going into the finals against the Lakers, and I'm sure that you believe the Lakers are going to get there, right?
Yeah, if everybody's healthy.
So is this the year though that the Clippers take the Lakers?
No, ain't got enough size. Ain't got enough size inside. Who's gonna have no Davis? Who's gonna have no Davis and Drummond?
Not even with Rondo.
Rondo makes a difference, but not that. It won't make that much difference to the Lakers. Because I'll tell you right now, if LeBron come back, Drummond number is gonna go up. He's gonna get more touches and spots that he like. Because that's the one thing I don't like about Dennis Schroeder. He's horrible at feeding the post.
I get that. That makes sense. Okay, so since we're on the line to these playoffs, though, and we're talking about those seeds, and we just said like they could end up playing the Trailblazers, but right now, number 7 is the Blazers, but we have the Mavs who are only 1 game ahead of the Blazers. We have the Grizzlies sitting at 8. Who is behind the Grizzlies? The Warriors at 9 and the Spurs at 10. And all of them, the Spurs are 3.5 games away from 6th place and locking up a spot. So that is tight. So you don't even know really who could get in. And then we got the stupid, all right, I shouldn't have said it like that. Then we have the playoff game, which I'm going to say is not very nice because we have guys like that. Now we're leaving the Warriors and the Spurs who do not have even winning records, who shouldn't even be thought of being in the playoffs, and they can win 1 game and take it away from the Trailblazers or the Mavs. Can you imagine the Mavs slipping to 7, doing a playing game with the Warriors, and Steph going off and then winning that 1 game, and the Mavs are out of the playoffs? I mean, is that fair? Is that the way it should go?
Paul, you said you shouldn't have said it like that. Yes, you should. The playing game is really stupid. It completely de-incentivized the regular season even more than it already was. You just had 3 years ago people talking about resting players on nationally televised games. There's a game between the Warriors and the Spurs where the big four aren't playing. Neither's Kawhi and LaMarcus Aldridge. It makes no sense. And that game still has to be on national TV because those networks are there. And now we're running into this problem. Because now you have a play-in game where 10 teams out of 15 have a shot to viably make the playoffs. Why wouldn't you sit your stars some of these games? And why wouldn't you sit them against some of the better competition where you're going to be expending more energy? Why not rest your guys for the easier games where you can win, you can get your wins and get to where you want to be? It's terrible. It's a complete money grab for the league, and I understood it for the bubble. I got it for the bubble. Okay, I thought it was a good idea for the bubble. It's not a good idea now. It's just not. It doesn't make any sense. And here's what I got a proposal for you. Is an 8 seed ever going to beat a 1 seed again? You had the Sixers and the Bulls because Derrick Rose got injured, and you got the We Believe Warriors, which was an amazing story. When's the next time it's going to happen? I venture to say this to you. What if you really incentivized the regular season, made it a 4 seed per conference playoffs and 2 best 5 of 9 series?
I mean, so here's the problem, in my opinion, right? Since he's in the shot anyway, and he's wonderful. It's the tail wagging the dog, right? That's a real problem in the NBA. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's not his, but it's the tail wagging the dog. So it's the players that have too much. Look, I'm all for player empowerment and getting paid. But I'll tell you what, I don't get paid to sit at home. Right? I don't get paid to travel on the team flight and sit on the bench. Oh, an injury day or this kind of day. The things that made, and I'll harken back to the olden days, the things that made Jordan's career great was his flu game and the legendary stories. Larry Bird once he played a whole game left-handed because the next night he was playing the Lakers and wanted to save his good hand for them. I mean, that's trash talk before the game you even walked in the arena. You guys don't have, I sat because I'd be tired the next day. Like, that's your legacy, dude. I played 67 games to save myself for the Nuggets in the playoff. It's the silliest thing ever. It does. It absolutely diminishes and waters down the game, right? And if we're all going there and we're putting a drink in my hand, I don't want extra ice in mine.
Yeah, true. Lamar?
Yeah, I really don't like the play-in game. But, the NBA doing it, probably extra more money for extra games. You know how that goes. It's all about the money.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like you said,
But
I think they like the intrigue of the March Madness, so they want to try to get a little bit of March Madness in the NBA playoff with the play-in game. But like you said, anything can happen in one game, no matter against who it is. Somebody can get hurt, get in foul trouble. Somebody get hot.
Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. Try to play the Warriors in a playoff game. I mean, and then Steph goes off for 60.
Or the way the Wizards playing right now, playing them in the playoff in the play-in game.
Yeah, we didn't even get to the East yet because the East is just as bad. I mean, you got the Wizards who are right there, but then you got the Bulls and the Raptors, both one game behind the number 10 seed, and both of those are only 2 games from the 4. I mean, like, that's what can we have? 10 games left, 12 games left, maybe something like that. 8 again. I mean, they could still go all the way down to the end, all because so in that respect, it helps the game because we have more important games towards this end. But then at least you could have did was maybe made it a 3. We used to have 3 out of 5, right? We used to do the 3 out of 5 in the first. You could have done that for this thing because again, that one game thing when you're used to series, I think just really kills the whole vibe. And if I'm number 7, if I'm number 8, I'm very angry. I'm especially if you lose. Now, of course, you can say, well, just win, right? Just win, and it's all taken care of. If you're that good, you should win. But didn't we do that for the season?
And it's like if you try to compare it to like what other sports do, like just say baseball when they added the second wild card team a couple years ago. That was a good idea for that game 163 because it truly like incentivized teams to want to win more actually because baseball is such an unpredictable sport. But then you look back a couple of years ago, I believe it was the year before the Nuggets got good, Paul. You'll remember this. It was the last game of the season, and you and the Jimmy Butler Timberwolves were tied, and the winner was going to the playoffs. And the Timberwolves
do I remember that game?
That was awesome because it was actually game 82. The play-in is game 83, and then the loser and the winner of the 9-10 get or whatever the configuration.
Yeah,
is.
And that was great, but that's because that was 2 teams that were tied for that last spot, though.
Exactly. In the parameters of the season, when you have to break the parameters of the regular season, it's not as fun. That game with the Timberwolves and the Nuggets was fun because it was game 82. It was drop dead right there. You see it every last week of the NFL season. It's fun right then. You don't go to an extra regular season week.
Right. It's not as fun when they're manipulating circumstances.
Correct.
It feels bad. It feels set up. It's a blind date. It's just, it's nothing organic about it. When you manipulate circumstance, and people know. Right, like real fans, like the real everyday fans, right? They know that it feels cheapened.
Yeah, I agree, and we've seen a little bit. Not to get off topic too much, but we've seen a little bit of that with that soccer Super League. I mean, fans know when something just ain't right, they let themselves be known, and they stop that. And I have a feeling that this will be the last year we see that NBA play-in game.
I hope so.
Do you get a vote?
But no, I wish. Everybody say it right now. If I had a vote, I wouldn't be voting it off. But
goodbye.
So that was great, guys, on the basketball. We do have something though tonight, which I just want to talk about real quick. There are some pretty good fights going on tonight in the UFC, and I want to give Liam a shot to tell us his thoughts on tonight's fights real quick, and we can pound him on that if we want to. Go ahead, Liam.
Yeah, as you guys can see, I've actually been training for this fight. There are 3 great title fights tonight on the UFC 261 main card, and there's actually 5 great fights in general. The whole main card is stacked, but the 3 title fights in general, you got possibly the best women's matchup you could make in Zhang Weili versus Rose Namajunas for the strawweight belt. You got the second best woman on the planet, Valentina the Bullet Shevchenko. She's defending her belt against Jessica Andrade, a heavy hitter and a fierce fighter. The main event, it's going to be awesome. It's Jorge Masvidal taking on Kamara Uzman. It's their second battle for the welterweight title. Kamara Usman's on the track to all-time greatness. This win will put him on the Mount Rushmore of welterweights, and he's only climbing from here. He's getting better with each fight. Masvidal, don't let it get past anybody. This is his 50th professional fight.
Ooh.
The dude's incredible. He has a home field advantage. There's fans back in the stadium. I can't wait. Let's go.
Oh yeah. Lots of fans. By the way, $500 a ticket, but go ahead, Jack.
Okay, so it's Masvidal's 50th professional fight. I think it's interesting that you mentioned that, because Masvidal's basically a street fighter. So how many fights has he had before his 50? No, I'm being completely serious. He's Roberto Duran, who is fighting in circles for chickens. I mean, that's really what he is. Masvidal and
300 fights in his career.
He might have, but you wouldn't even know. And the thing is that Usman is very technically sound. He's almost the perfect fighter. But in their first fight, Masvidal took on short notice, but there were parts in that fight where he caught Usman a couple times, and Usman didn't think he was going to. And I went, man, if he would have trained and had a little bit more time to prepare for this guy, I don't know if Usman has the street in him. I don't know if he's just born out of the gym. It's very Balboa Creed, where Balboa was in the first one, at least, he was basically working for the mob, cracking skulls on the streets, and Apollo Creed was a perfectly trained gym fighter. And I think that's where we're at. For my money, I think Masvidal's plus 300, and I think he's exciting. That's where I might lay it. I like the exciting guy.
All right, you heard it right here. Lamar, do you got anything on the fights?
No, I'm not a big UFC fan, but I might try to watch the fights tonight though.
Yeah, I believe you can catch some on ESPN, the prelims, I think.
Yeah, free. ESPN Plus, you can get the prelims.
So yeah, that's cool. I will be ordering that fight tonight for sure. I was going to go until I found out they were $500 a ticket, and I decided it wasn't quite worth that. So,
how much to order it, the fight?
If you have ESPN Plus, it's $69, and I'm not sure if you don't, probably $89. I would assume something like that.
Lamar, I'll send you a little chat, and I'll let you know if you can bypass that, maybe.
All right, thanks, man.
Yeah. I don't think there's any way, but but if there possibly is one, I'm sure we could find a way around that.
Yeah, little walk around. Dana doesn't have to know. Dana doesn't. Jorge's going to have to keep his distance. Jorge's going to have to maintain that distance. He can't get clinched tonight. If there's any grabbing, Kamara is going to ruin him.
Yeah, and that's it. And you know what? That's probably true. Again, he's technical. Masvidal likes it when it gets sloppy, though. He just, when it goes off script. I thought when Usman took him to the ground, I was like, well, I mean, he's strong. He's going to stay on the ground. And Masvidal found his way off the mat. There was a couple times that match I went, man, like, I think that the way Masvidal fights, he would beat Burns, because Burns is so super technical. And I think the fact that Usman and Burns knew each other, and Usman's the better athlete, led to Burns losing.
I love when you have two technical guys, though. I mean, who can get out of grip, who know how to do all of the, because that makes for such a great fight. You get the ones who one guy takes him down and it's over, or one guy does. I love the ones who you get him down, you don't know if it's over, because he could switch that like that coming up. And those the little subtle moves, the little kind of things where you see, and all of a sudden, boom, and it flips.
They're just
I love those.
quick bursts of energy from Masvidal. It's very Street Fighter. And I just can't explain it any other way. And I just that does scare me because it sneaks up on you. And you don't know when it's gonna happen. You just kind of sit back in your seat and hope you could take those shots.
So you're taking the plus 300, 350?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the plus 300. I like that
Liam?
fun.
I'm going with the Uzman. Striker versus wrestler. It's a classic matchup. It's going to be awesome.
All right. Well, guys, this was great once again. I appreciate you guys coming on once more, and we got some exciting news for us, though. We're going to up the ante on this show, and we're going to even take it a little bit higher. So there are big things to come for us later on, everybody. Of course, we will have a couple of new sponsors next week, so we'll be throwing those in. Good to hear that we're getting that. And anybody who wants to check the odds, go over to odds. What was it? Anyway, we got a new site. I'll put it up on the in the description there for you to go check them out. But they got all the odds in one spot. No more having to walk around, and it's up to the minute. So you can catch one of those bookies sleeping. They didn't change their line when somebody went out. They didn't change their line when somebody, and that's how you make that extra money like that. So, but anyway, we got a lot of good things coming on. So everybody go check out theeverydayfan.com. And Liam, Jack, Lamar, once again, it's been great.
Jack, I'll catch you on your pod later.
I'll see you later, boss.
And I'll see you all in Cleveland next week. I'll be at the NFL draft. I can't wait for our show on Wednesday.
Yes, love it. We will do it. Next week is all about the draft. Everybody, till next week.
Have a great day, everybody.